I never thought one ordinary afternoon could change everything I believed about my marriage. It started so simply, almost like fate was giving me a rare gift. My boss, Mr. Thompson, called me into his office without warning. I braced myself, half expecting bad news. Instead, he smiled, thanked me for my work on a big project we'd just wrapped up, and told me to take the rest of the day off. It felt like someone had lifted a weight off my shoulders. I practically floated out of his office, ready to enjoy a rare moment of peace. Driving through the warm, breezy streets, the air carried the faint scent of freshly cut grass, pulling me back to memories of the small Midwestern town where I grew up. That nostalgic calm didn't last long. Somewhere between gratitude and daydreaming, I had a spontaneous idea. My wife, Emily, worked just a few miles away. We'd been so busy lately that we hadn't shared much time together. I thought surprising her would be romantic, a little spark in the middle of the week. I pulled into the parking lot near her building, stepped out for a quick smoke, and leaned against my car. That's when I saw her. Emily was peeking around the corner of the building, glancing over her shoulder like she didn't want anyone to notice her. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't walking normally. She was nervous. I frowned, unsure what to make of it, but before I could overthink, I slid back into my car and rolled up beside her. "Need a ride, Em?" I asked with a grin, trying to lighten the mood. She jumped a little before climbing in, tugging at her skirt as if trying to pull it lower over her thighs. It was odd, but I didn't press her about it there. I figured maybe she was just embarrassed about something, maybe a wardrobe malfunction or a clumsy spill at work. Still, a strange tension filled the car on the drive home. Emily barely spoke, her gaze locked on the window as if she couldn't bear to meet my eyes. When we pulled into our driveway, she practically bolted from the passenger seat and speed-walked to the front door. "Emily, wait up," I called after her. She pretended not to hear, fumbling with her keys and muttering something about needing the bathroom. That's when I noticed faint stains on her skirt. Not the kind you get from food or coffee. My stomach tightened, but I didn't say anything yet. Inside the house, she disappeared down the hall, but not before I caught another detail. Her stockings were ripped in multiple places, little runs climbing up her legs. Something primal in me snapped. I followed her into the bedroom before she could shut the door. "Emily, what's going on?" My voice was sharper than I intended, but my heart was hammering. She tried to brush me off, but I stepped closer, my hands shaking. And then, without thinking, I yanked her skirt upward. No underwear. None. It was like the air left the room. In an instant, all the small, suspicious details fell into place. The nervous glances. The rush to get home. The stains. The torn stockings. She hadn't just left work early, she'd been with someone. I thought of Nick, a tall, smug guy from her office I'd seen walking out with her earlier that day. I'd always had a bad feeling about him. Now I was sure. "Who?" I demanded, my voice cracking between rage and disbelief. She wouldn't answer. She just stood there, cheeks flushed, eyes darting away from mine. I'll admit, I lost control. I grabbed her shoulders, shouting for the truth. But Emily clamped her lips shut. The next day, I went full detective. Since the phone plan was under my name, I went to our wireless provider and requested a full printout of her calls and texts. One number showed up again and again, more than mine, for the last 3 months. I dialed it. A man answered. I told him to meet me in person. He refused, voice shaking. That only fueled my anger. Later, I parked outside Emily's office, waiting until I saw a guy who matched the voice. I called the number again, watching his phone light up. He froze when he saw me walking toward him. I didn't care about the consequences. I confronted him in the parking lot, words turning to shoves, shoves turning to punches. When I walked away, he had a blooded nose and bruises. He didn't file charges, probably too humiliated. I went home, changed the locks, and texted Emily that she wasn't welcome. She called non-stop, screaming about her rights and threatening to take half of everything. I let her pick up a few personal belongings, but that was it. The rest, I kept. The divorce was quick. Cold. No tears, no goodbyes, just signatures and silence. I left town for a couple of weeks, Staying with my parents. The quiet streets of my hometown, the smell of old pine trees, the familiar warmth of people who actually cared, it healed something in me. When I came back, I wasn't the same man who had driven to surprise his wife that afternoon. I was calmer, sharper, and strangely hopeful. I knew one thing for sure: I'd rather be alone than spend another day with someone I couldn't trust. Someday, I want a woman who'll look at me the way I used to look at Emily, like I was her only choice, her only love. But until then, I carry the lesson burned into me that day: trust is fragile, and once shattered, it's gone forever.